all the pressures on Astralis. There's no way around it.
The CIS teams, man, they're killer right now. That is, some may say, the most competitive region we have right now in Counter-Strike. Feels like they're cranking out all the top heavy hitters. And here's the map picks of the Veto, how it goes down. A little bit of a different format. You got 2 bands followed by 3, and then ENTROPIQ will get to decide. And Anders, this is sick. We get to see Dust 2. I was wondering if we were going to get to see Dust 2 today, and we're going to get it right off the bat, you and me.
Probably kind of good news for ENTROPIQ, isn't it? It's one of those maps that, again, you could probably get away with tilting it more towards a bit of a crazy game. I think Astralis ended up playing Overpass in that first match.
They did.
Which kind of surprised me a little bit.
They got blown out on it.
Yeah.
But they did put Ancient in. That was a little bit of debate whether or not that would happen for Astralis. We saw that Astralis, that was their last veto there. Yeah. And then what's interesting is that ENTROPIQ don't decide to go for the Overpass, considering how they saw, just how weak Astralis were on the map. If it was still in the pool, you could think, well, maybe we'll just pick that too and just smash them as well. But we're going to have a little bit of a mystery going into it because Dust 2, neither of these teams we have info going into the major room.
No, I think it's going to be very, very hard to predict what the outcome will be here. I mean, still probably favorite, but on the Astralis side, a little bit of a head-to-head here. I mean, dupreeh, this is making it seem like it could be sort of a little bit even, maybe. I think dupreeh is not just a world-class player, but especially at these big tournaments. He's someone, Magus, Glaive, there are some players here that you're expecting an enormous amount out of.
Sure, and it's a point that our analyst Thorin keeps mentioning as well, in that dupreeh needs to step up now, right? Without Device on the roster, nobody's really talking about Device much when it comes to Astralis. He's on NIP, they're already in the next stage. But, on this roster for Astralis, now you need to be looking at dupreeh, you need to be looking at Magus to carry the weight. And those guys, they are star-level material. They are the heavy hitters on the team, and they can do it. We didn't see that against Copenhagen Flames earlier today. But now dupreeh, I mean, the weight has got to be on your shoulders, and you've got to show that you can carry it.
Without a doubt. Dust 2 as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. I think there should be a powerful combination to look for Astralis, and there is a world in which they turn up differently here, but the best of ones are just notoriously difficult to play.
I think this is ENTROPIQ just going, you know what? You guys don't have much time with your roster. Glaive has been sitting out. You guys have been swapping players around. We know RIP Bubsky. So, I mean, as far as Astralis is concerned, have they had much time to practice on Dust 2? This could be the sidewinder thrown in here by ENTROPIQ saying, you know what? We don't think you guys have much time on this map because there was a crucial change made to this map now that you cannot see from T-spawn into CT through the mid doors anymore. That changed the dynamic of the map severely, and the question is whether or not Astralis have had time to get up to date on it, because there's been a lot of movement on that map. It's a totally different beast.
It's definitely changed some things. You could take a couple of more risks, getting through the middle if you want.
Oh, yeah.
You can try and do it. Obviously, the Ts can still jump down and try and be really quick about it. But also, we see that on the CT side sometimes people try and push up now, maybe a little bit more than they used to, because they think they can get away with it. So even though the map is probably mostly still the same, I agree. If you make that assumption that it's just going to play out the same, it probably won't. And especially you think about the grenade meta as well. Team like ENTROPIQ, if they've come in early, if they've done a little bit of research, if they figured out some good places to leave grenade stacks and go back and pick up, even who knows if Astralis is going to be ready for it. So I think it's going to be interesting.
It's another really cool element of the meta that we're all getting used to as well, going into the major. Decided to really keep the pros on their feet and make it so that you can drop grenades as well. That's something that hasn't been done before, and so now we're getting to see how these players are deciding to change that up. And one of the go-to strengths that we've seen a lot of, and you guys can keep an eye out for this, is that on maps where CT side they tend to rotate through their own spawn, players will just drop grenades in the spawn so that you can go and play A long on Dust 2, but if you have to rotate back through mid towards B because it's a quick B hit or something, maybe use some nades on long, it's fine. You pick up some more nades in CT spawn, they got dropped earlier, and then you're right back into the mix fully equipped. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's something to keep in mind going forward here, guys.
Well, here we go. We're into it. Astralis versus ENTROPIQ. It's on Dust 2 here at the major. Can't believe that we're finally ready and live with it. It looks like they're going to be walking around upper dark for a minute here. Obviously, ENTROPIQ are on the T side with Astralis on the CT side. Magus has already taken a bit of damage, it seems. So we'll see how that's going to be playing out for him. It's a pistol round, so not that much fun being down on 16 health. There's a good flashbang. Lucky, he is in trouble. He's never going to be able to make it out. You could tell he knew that was bad. dupreeh trying to bring it back. Good headshot. Magus even low on health. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on one of them at least, but dupreeh will drop Forrester, and that leaves it, I don't know, Lucky and Nickelback on their own trying to drag it back. If they actually do incredible work bringing down Magus and dupreeh, and we're back into a 2-on-2.
Oh, and they're so slow. They're not able to get into challenge this in a 2v1 while the bomb gets planted. That was the best chance for Astralis. Now they have to do it the hard way.
They do. just a decoy. Thought for a second it was going to be something more. Glaive sneaking closer. Sip trying to join in. Lucky going to be picking up the 1 kill on Glaive, but Sip is here trying to clutch it in the major. Oh, he's out of bullets. Knife on the other side. Nickelback, he's got it wrong. He's going to have to try and reload. Sip is back for revenge. And he's going to take him down. Runs for the defuse, and he should have enough time for it as well. Oh, no. Oh, no. I actually thought he could pick up a kit in there. It turns out not to be the case. So that is a devastating way to lose a pistol in the opening round. Wow.
And it looked so promising with dupreeh and Mattias finding kills to make up for the fact that Lucky got jumped in mid. Xyp9x nearly pulls it off with 2 kills, but thanks to that new timer that we see there in the top left, we get to see just how much time it's going to take to defuse, as well as before the bomb goes off, so you can match it up a little bit. And it was a split second, Anders. You weren't wrong. It was so close, but Xyp9x realized he didn't have enough time. He can't see that, but the pros know. They can tell if they've got time or not with a kit or
got some
not.
hours in it. Yeah, they could probably guess.
Double tag? Get out of here. No, not quite. Lucky and dupreeh getting tagged in mid, though, not going to help things. And you can see the investment. You saw it. You pointed that out, Anders, where you can drop down into suicide on the T side and still be able to spot into mid. It just takes you a little bit longer, and you have to invest a bit more.
Definitely, I would say an evolving meta, and it makes it when you're looking on the CT side, there are just fewer angles to spot for. I mean, precisely one less huge angle up in T spawn. So that means maybe on the CT side, you're going to be a little bit more likely to actually take the fight. Maybe you feel like you can do it. Because that had kind of gone away in the past. It's very hard to take that fight on the CT side. You just kind of ignore it. But maybe now people will try it a little bit more, hoping that they can win that battle. Second round starting with Ilian, I'm assuming.
Ilian, yeah.
Ilian going down straight off the bat. Lackey coming through. Glaive jumping for the shot here with the deagle, but it's hard to do with the deagle. You're not going to be guessing much through there. dupreeh is down and out, and that's pretty much going to be it for the B bomb side. So, I don't know, you can justify if you're Astralis not going for more damage here, just falling back with the weapons, because you're going to be using them in the next round anyway, so probably better to just back it on out. But ENTROPIQ doing a fine job so far.
Yeah, without a doubt. Just moving on back, easy peasy. And this is where I'm starting to wonder if ENTROPIQ on it. Pressure. But then you where Lucky's going to be playing on this map, on this CT side, they can make his first half a living hell.
That's got to be part of the plan for sure from their point of view. Got 3 AKs, 1 Galil, 1 Scout, and on the other side, the pistols that they saved from the previous round, the 1 Scout, they're unlucky. It's early days still on Dust 2, so I don't want to get too carried away. Kill down the middle on Ilian, so that's about as unfortunate of a start to the third round as you could get. Still, they should have a good chance of winning it here. dupreeh will spot Forrester down in lower dark, quickly backing on out.
Sick. Oh, Brad, you're not supposed to miss up smoke like that. That's an unforced error. Maybe some jitters. I mean, it's not like ENTROPIQ are long in the tooth either. It's not like they have too much experience at this level. One of the teams that is going to be looking to try and shake things up here and represent the CIS region. Not quite. So, screwing up grenades that you should know the lineup for 100%.
Oh,
questionable.
That otherwise could have been a really dangerous 1-2 punch there if Lucky gets some damage and then dupreeh gets put into play afterwards. But Forrester, that was a very, very good spray that came through. Glaive goes down next, leaving Sip. Well, just Magus now going down. So he's on his own out here. Nickelback will take him, and we've got a third round of the board for ENTROPIQ. In spite of losing Ilian early in the spawn, they kind of make up for it. They don't get too rattled. Now is the big test for Astralis, though. If they can't win this round, it's going to be really awkward, isn't it? He saw the leg there. All right.
Well, the question is whether or not they're going to be regretting the decision to put Glaive in instead of Upskate for Astralis, considering the performance.
People certainly have questions, won't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you go 0-2 on the first day here as Astralis, Astralis. And this was after a change where you went 5-0 in your group, looked terrific, did a little bit of damage in the playoffs, but that was fine. You were still ironing out the kinks. And then you decide to bench your strongest player, or at least the player that performed best in that tournament. You know, there are going to be some questions. There's definitely going to be some questions.
No doubt the social medias will be lighting up, but I mean it's too soon to tell, right? Still in that 4th round. Lucky's got his AWP. They've got all the M4A1s, obviously another patch change to pretty much cement them as the go-to M4 nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Not many people holding on to the other one.
Never changed, Daniels, never changed.
You're on that team too. Disgusting.
Get out of here with the A4. See, you only had an A4 because you had the Howl skin, so that's why I'm convinced that's the only reason why you used it.
And I got rid of it, so maybe now I should just join the M4A1 team. Maybe I should. Maybe it's time.
Oh, nice HE.
Pretty good, yeah.
Meaty one.
Setting up those grenades, but they're going to go out middle instead, so this is just faking a catwalk push from the Entropiq side, trying to set it up for middle. Glaive, he couldn't see much at all there, but apparently enough to take down Lackey. Very interesting. I otherwise really like that. That smoke that they put up on the T side on the catwalk can mean anything. It could be for an A push, it could be to drop down into CT spawn, or in this case, it could be just to look for information in the middle, which they lost a player to. Lucky with a kill on Nickelback. It's not bad. Crad will be taken down to Dupree in return, and we're in a 2-1-4 with Crad and Ilian. Well, they're going to get completely found out here. So, I would say a bit more of a slow round. I actually wish they would have committed to that mid push with the fake. Obviously, we could see that maybe would have worked out. Although, I still am pretty impressed that Glaive could see anything through that.
Yeah, that's like the barest margin, the smallest of gaps, and Glaive is able to take advantage of it. And that's just nightmare fuel for Entropiq because you don't know if he's boosted up. You don't know how much he sees. Are you going to lose more guys pushing through? And I guess that's where they got cold feet, as you said, and decided to try and go up catwalk. But you saw it right there. Without any flashes, without any smokes, without any mollies, but more importantly, flashes to force the op off of that angle that Lucky was holding.
Yeah.
It's so hard to move out in the open towards that A bomb site. You need the flashes to force Lucky backwards, or at least try and get a smoke down, something to work with. But dry peeking it, you're going to die. And so Entropiq, that was a bit of a rough round. Maybe working out some of those jitters. All right, we're seeing some unforced errors here. So we'll see if they're going to be able to tighten up their game.
Oh, well, this is good so far. He actually got so deep in. Lucky to take down Glaive as well. It's looking really good for Entropiq. Sip, he will just randomly spray through the smoke and get a kill on Lackey. So at least they got that Astralis. Otherwise, this might have been a lost round almost already. It was about to be 3-on-5. So the fact that they're 3-on-4 instead is a good look for them. But still, 1 minute and 25 seconds. When you get these kills this early on, there's so much you could do. Sip has to be real careful, and he's only just back around the corner. And Flashbang was good. Setup was pretty good there for Entropiq. They're going to know the orb is up here. In fact, they know where 2 out of 3 players for Astralis are. So the math is pretty easy right now if you're on the T side.
This is going to be key. And Lucky doesn't miss the shot. Brilliant work, but we will get that smoke wall down. They realize now that they need to push up onto the bomb site itself, and that Molotov impeccably timed. It's drawing everything out here for Entropiq. They need to move, but these nades are buying so much time for the defense.
Forrester with a good kill on Sip. Nice nade. There we go. The utility damage coming back in on the Astralis side. Still 40 seconds though on the clock, so get too ahead of ourselves here. If you're on the Entropiq side, you need to take a deep breath and just use that time at your advantage and make sure you don't suddenly start planting and get, boosted on or jumped on. Nice Molotov there. Is he going to be able to follow it up? Lucky, he's thinking about it, trying to bait out the shot, and the Molotov's not burning him. There's one kill. Megas with the return, but Forrester is there. That is a great trade in favor of Entropiq, and they're going to be up 4-1 against Astralis.
Ooh, that's interesting. Forrester does not grab the AWP. So a little bit of a mistake there. Not going. That's an expensive one. He has to tap his whole bank to drop an AWP over for Elion when he could have grabbed one, saving it on long. Thought we were going to get a collateral there for a second on that shot. It looked so close to getting a 2-for-1. That would have been so sick. But Entropiq still get the round locked down. And here we go. First tactical timeout getting called by Astralis. They are a team that will not waste time. They'll throw the tactical timeouts as soon as they feel like things are starting to slip away. And so this is good. They're not wasting any time. They're going to try and address this quickly here, Astralis. And as far as their money is concerned, enough to force, but it's not going to be pretty. Or are they just going to, they're going to play conservative. Okay then. So it is going to be just a little bit of a half buy. Megas going for a scout. A couple of Deagles getting picked up.
This is where I think you really, the experience and just, the years combined on this team should add up to a sort of a 4-1. Sure, it doesn't sound that good, especially if you take into account how they lost to Copenhagen Flames. But at the end of it, it should be a perfectly recoverable scoreline for Astralis. They have to maintain that confidence in themselves to say, of course we can win this. So yeah, even if we give them 5-1, who cares? It's what? It's the first sort of third of the first half. We're going to be fine. We're going to be all right, even if that happens. So I think they have to maintain that. If they start panic buying now and forcing up with FAMASas or anything, I'd be really worried for Astralis. But I think this is a good choice. Just try and play it off like it's not that big of a deal and move on.
Indeed. Okay, now we get the countdown. I was wondering if we were having a little bit of a tech timeout as well on top of the teams. But countdown has begun, and it's looking like we're going to be able to get back in here. And you can already see some of the nades getting dropped around, forcing around. Not enough money to full buy for these guys, so it is a little awkward. You can see them trying to decide what they want to do with this.
Got to be a little careful with some of those nades because even in the timeout, they keep rolling. I mean, we saw a hilarious video. Oh! He just does a drive-by. He didn't even stop. He shot him through the door. My God.
Whoa!
Get him on rolling nades. That headshot from the scout is way more of a concern.
That was so sick. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Vitality. That was the meme on Vertigo.
I know.
They dropped it, and it's like watching the smoke roll off the side of the building.
I mean, so obviously that's not going to happen on Dust 2, right? But it can still roll quite far away from spawn if you're unlucky, and maybe you don't want that. Like you said, coming back to it. Lucky here, close with the Deagle. Missed the timing just a bit, and he's on his own. There's no one there to return that kill. Glaive, easy find. One click on Forrester. And that actually locks them into the map now. They have to go for this. They can't really backtrack across the map. So Astralis have a bit of at least an informational advantage in this play. They don't have the weapons quite. Glaive is stolen that AK-47, and he's just running through T-spawn, trying to get here ASAP. Lackey with 2 great kills. That kills the flank for Glaive so much. He needed his teammates to be alive for that AK to have any save. He should stop running. There's no point in going for this. Save the AK and let him have this round.
He wants to give Lackey the ace.
Don't do it.
He wants to give Lackey the ace? Lackey's got a chance?
You might be right. Why is he doing this? I don't feel like this is even close to worth it. A shot from Glaive? But yeah, he's going to walk into Crad with that AWP. So, fair enough. He's got the 1 kill. I know they can buy in this round, but I still think that AK, you could have given that over to dupreeh. He would have had a lot more money to work with in the future. I think there's almost no way. He didn't have a kit either, I think, so to win that 1 versus 3, highly unlikely.
Especially if you're going to count on dupreeh to be that B-side anchor. Give him all the firepower he can get right now. He's only got 2 kills, though, dupreeh. So, again, a lot of eyes on dupreeh and Magus to be the heavy hitters here for the team in these matches. They need to carry the weight. And so dupreeh, B-site, sometimes it really is hit or miss. Either it works or it doesn't. But now we're going to see another tactical timeout getting called here by Astralis going into this pivotal round. This is now time for them to start to get things rolling here on the CT side. We've seen since the change that it shifted ever so slightly more towards the CT side in terms of advantage in the half. So if Astralis are trailing already 5-1, they need to start getting in gear here, Anders. They need to start doing some damage.
Yeah, I think now is about the time where, like I said just a couple of rounds ago, I don't think they should be panicked because it's still pretty early on. But if you lose this round and it's 6-1 and it's another buy round, ooh, nice shot. Ilian taking down Lucky. He just saw that coming. But again, you could tell how much more Astralis are willing to try and fight. They're also pushing upper dark into lower. They've actually cleared this entire side of the map. Ilian, though, he knows that smoke is a dead giveaway, that they've lost this part of the map. And the question is, in a 4-on-5, do you just want to go long? Actually, a lot of teams do that because either you just go long like you started, you just commit to this play, or you have to backtrack and check every part of the map as you go back. And that's usually not a good idea either. So I don't really like this position for the T side, although a lot of teams find themselves in it. You should watch a lot of Dust 2. You see this happening pretty often, actually.
This is where I wonder if they got cold feet or not, ENTROPIQ, if they tried to slow it down, not realizing that that push was happening. But now Glaive is going to get the freebie on Elion, and it's just going to shape up so nicely here for the defense. Astralis is going to be able to drop those nades on the bomb sites. Lackey looking to open it up, and he's going to get 1 and a second.
Great handling of that AK, just absolutely aware that one of them was flashed. He went for the second player up on the catwalk first. That works out so well. Now it's a 2-1-3. Magus setting up. Molotov, does it actually land in the corner? You can throw it there, but it's not always that easy. And it's not going to matter. He forced him out, sure, but Forrester was there to help out his mate, and he's going to get a double kill of his own. 6-1, Astralis. They had the AWP in the right place. They had all the information. They knew what was coming to the A-bomb site, and they still could not defend it against ENTROPIQ.
Yeah, the fact that Dupree is even able to get a kill over, they rotated the extra guys over once they cleared out lower and upper halls. Astralis, they just rotated those extra bodies over towards A. They knew where ENTROPIQ were. That's why I was criticizing ENTROPIQ, saying that they may be going too slow in this situation and that they should get smashed by Astralis, and yet comes down to it, Astralis cannot connect the shots. Glaive was cowering on the bomb site, not really looking to take a fight, and Lackey just ripped his head off.
And I think he was flashed for the first like 2 or 3 seconds even of that. It was really some good grenades coming in from ENTROPIQ. I mean, that's worth pointing out too.
This could just be one of those picks here for ENTROPIQ where, again, Astralis may not be as comfortable on it given the fact that Glaive has been sitting out waiting on, well, you know, congratulations, his first child, of course, but like not able to put as much work in perhaps. Whereas ENTROPIQ, you know, full 5-man roster, they could just be ready on Dust 2, dialed in, knowing exactly what they want to do.
And I mean, you're right, and it makes a huge difference whether or not you're playing best of 1s or best of 3s, right? Because it's entirely possible that pushed into a best of 3 scenario, ENTROPIQ don't have the map depth to try and actually fight on 3 maps like this, but best of 1s, it is just a different feel. Glaive has got a single kill in this round so far, and maybe that's a start. Nice grenade on Lackey. And Forrester almost getting himself killed. This could make it a 1 versus 2, in fact, but reloading around the corner, you don't want to be doing that. Orbis on the other side, and that bomb is planted as well, so Dupree's out looking, trying to see if he can find anything. Glaive is hanging around as well up on the catwalk, but Forrester, they're just going to leave him be. Glaive back around the corner. He can't really go for a defuse here for 10 seconds against the orb down here. It's such a powerful position. Emilian going to be doing a fine job. Forrester's short as well. That could have been a very, very sketchy round for ENTROPIQ, but they handled it just fine once they realized what was going on. And they're going to be getting a 7th round to the one of Astralis.
Just sometimes you're going to get that lucky break, Anders. Sometimes you're going to survive with 3 health, and that's just going to save the round.
Yeah.
You know, if he dies there, that's it. You're going to get crunched if you're out, and you're going to get scissored on. You're not really going to be able to stay alive at long because you can get pinched from the bomb site and from Longhouse. But the fact that Forrester stays alive there, 3 health is what makes all of the difference. Him staying alive just throws everything out of whack for Astralis in that retake.
Lackey has been playing an absolutely incredible game so far. He's 13-5. He's had, I think, a double kill at least every time they show up to the A bomb site. That is, I mean, even that alone is probably a good reason to keep going A if you really want to. You can justify it because you've got this one guy that's just a battering ram knocking down Astralis every single time. So that is impressive. At this level, again, the pressure is, it looks like ENTROPIQ are cruising through the first part of this half here. Trust me, this is some high tension gaming coming out because if they slip up, they could let Astralis back in the game. They know what's on the line here. Looks like they're having a bit of a free ride right now, but I don't think it feels that way at all if you're on the T side. Magisk in the corner, no one's checked it. It's not going to be a multi-spray down, but there is a team kill in the middle of that. Lackey taking down Forrester and Glaive to follow it up. I guess that technically counts as a multi-kill. 2 versus 3 now. Lackey and Ilian left alive here and trying to see if they can recover it, but Dupree, that is a critical kill to take down Lackey. They finally bring him down, and it's going to be a 2nd round for Astralis, finally.
And talk about guys staying alive once again. Forrester in the last round. This time it was Dupree dropping that smoke immediately as soon as that execute was coming through. He drops the smoke and creates the space to stay alive, and ENTROPIQ have to deal with that. It just slows everything.
Minute left. Taking a fair bit of damage. Getting grenaded down out here. Sip. Good. So 3 versus 5. And even at this scoreline, you have to really remember, Astralis are not out of this game yet. It is, you have to, especially if you're ENTROPIQ, you have to really think deep about this, because if you let them back in, if they get up to 3, if you lose the economy, which they almost have, then they could be right back in the game in a couple of minutes. So don't give them the opportunity. Even this round, which looks like it's probably not going to go their way, another kill would make a huge difference, even if you don't win the round. 25 seconds, and they're just going to slowly run it down, try and see if they can maybe bait Astralis into anything, but they're not even really pretending right now, Astralis. They are just happy to finally get another round. There'll be a third on the board for them, so that is something to work with, something they can be a little bit more happy about. 3-7. Again, it is a great scoreline for Entropiq, but the half is not done yet. We've seen this before where you have a pretty good start and suddenly you still end up at like a 7, maybe 9-6, but otherwise 8-7 type scoreline, and it doesn't feel nearly as good as when you were up 7-1. 7-1, 7-3 now. Moving into the 11th round.
Энтропик 7 взяли. Красавчики.
Yeah. Well,
Probably that would help.
this is a critical point in the game, in my opinion. This is a point where, if at this point Entropiq lose this round, Astralis probably go from 3 to 5 rounds just based on the T-side economy here. So they really need to put this one together. The flashes are really good. Forrest is down to the... Oh, God. They're so deep in. They can win the round right now. 3 kills unreturned from Astralis. Glaive on his own, fighting for his life out here. And he's doing such a fantastic job. 3 kills with the M4. He had to manage every single bullet or he was going to run out. But he comes back for more to try and throw that nade. And that got him killed. And now it is on Magus to try and follow up on the legacy of Glaive out here because he just basically got them back in the round. Can Magus do it? They are backtracking. They have over a minute. They don't care. They're going to go back through T-spawn now.
This smoke has sold the Andrews. Magus has got every reason to think that they're somewhere around here right now.
Что не слышно?
Think about the context of the game. Every other time they've shown up on long, they've gone long. They've never come back from this position. So Magus must also be thinking, well, they never actually turn it around. But now they do. They're going to have the bomb plant. He is going to be so far away. It could be done, but there is no surefire way to win this round. If you're Magus, I almost feel like just pull out your knife, run there, and try and headshot the first guy you meet real quick, because if you spend too much time thinking and waiting, it's probably not going to work out well. Iliam will take him down. It is an 8th round for Entropiq. They avoid that economic death, and they are so much on top of this game right now. Astralis can still buy. That is the only silver lining here.
What's crazy is that that is almost a round that Glaive brings back single-handedly, and he is the only one in double digits on the side of Astralis right now with 12 kills, 0 assists. The guy just feels like he has to pull his team across the line right now. And well, that's what leaders do. That's what the in-game leader needs to do sometimes. He needs to get the guys fired up and fighting. And so if Glaive is going to have to be the one, I mean, hopefully that's going to be enough to get Dupree and Magus in this game. We can start seeing them having an impact here. So that's an 8th round on the board for Entropiq, and now Entropiq have a chance to break Astralis' economy as well, which would throw things completely out of whack for Astralis in this first half.
Yeah, they are skirting right on the edge here, Astralis. There's no doubt about it. That, I mean, that triple from Glaive is unbelievable because...
yeah, one after another, just...
And he's at the edge of the smoke. If they just tag him through or anything, he's probably going to be sprayed down and die. He's got the M4A1, which again, it's a powerful rifle. It does have that bullet penalty, so if he can't just randomly and indiscriminately spray through the smoke, he actually has to be really conservative with using those bullets, and he did do a fantastic job. But I don't know, it was all for nothing at the end of it.
It's that classic Entropiq where it's just like, just keep throwing bodies at him. He's right there. Get him. And then it's just one
after another
through that smoke, giving the shot to Glaive, doing exactly what he needs.
3-8 это не показатель.
If you get the smokes going down in mid, that could set up for the B split. But Entropiq they're looking for an A play.
And a run boost on top of it.
Ну поехали.
Play. Run boosted with an AK and a major and a headshot on Sip. Absolutely beautiful. Lackey is such a powerful player in this game. Another headshot to bring down Glaive. Another double kill. It is every single time they hit this A-bomb site, he is ready to fight them. Absolutely stellar. And he's going to get one more. A triple on.
Просто за стёл ХП не избрал.
Stop him. Now it's on Crad to try and take a little bit of a fight to sit here, but Magisk and Lucky are just going to have to back on out and surrender this round. That makes it 9 for Entropiq. This guy Lucky is absolutely out of control.
Magisk just scrapes him off the bottom of his shoe like
Get out.
That is such a brutal take.
That run boost, by the way, that's something we typically see when people have pistols and they just want to get a bomb planted. Like, just throw someone with a Glock. It's going to be funny.
Yeah,
even
take the bait.
Work.
Go duck hunting.
Exactly. But they did it in an actual round. Magisk going to hold on to the M4. Again, that is super important to Astralis.
And the AWP on Lucky as well. So Astralis actually have some firepower to play with here.
Ну, в принципе, это пока
Dupree as well.
нормальный счет 5-9. Единственное, здесь кэпы можно ловить хорошие.
Astralis. So it's not quite the disaster. But Entropiq have got 9 rounds on the T side of Dust 2 right now. They are cooking with gas. And they are looking so good. And Lackey, again, with these individual plays that are making so much of a difference. Because it's not like everybody's firing on all cylinders on Entropiq either. I mean, Nickelback now lagging behind right now, trying to set his teammates up, but not really getting the kills. It really feels like some individual plays that are making the difference for both of these teams in this first half. Lackey for Entropiq's really standing out, and Glaive on the side of Astralis. So we're just gonna run, just gonna see what these guys are capable of.
What they're proving a little bit too on the side of Entropiq is the fact that
Посмотрим,
that
какой
A
кэф на
side
Астралис.
is just it's a sore leg, right? They've been kicking and kicking at that leg all the way through. It's starting to get really painful, and it doesn't matter if they go long or catwalk, they're still making it work. So that whole A side defense is probably not feeling that great right now. It's frustrating when you kind of know it's coming round after round and you can't stop it.
That is a very cool smoke that Astralis just threw through the mid doors to make it look like somebody was going to push lower dark. That forced some utility out of Entropiq that they probably would not have wanted to use, but they had to commit a flash down to lower dark to actually clear this, because this smoke that just cleared, that is a big warning signal for Entropiq. They have to worry that Astralis are playing aggressive this round.
And they've been slowed down coming out long as well. They haven't really gone for it. They tried once in Entropiq, remember, to go for B instead, where Magisk was hiding in the corner and they ended up losing.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the attempts from Entropiq to try and sort of change the otherwise very A-centric first half that we've been seeing here. They could do it again, right? If you catch them off guard, it's not, we can tell Astralis on the map, they're not actually leaning that heavily A right now. Pretty standard setup, but if you catch them in the right round, maybe you could.
I wonder if they go for the same setup now.
На карту это.
Smoke CT, smoke B slope, and just power up catwalk, or are they going to try and slow play it? They have so many grenades to use. It's kind of shocking to see them try and run it dry.
Set up the initial smokes, the extra smoke down on ramp as well. They've got a huge wall to run behind, and let's see, Lucky, last time they didn't flash him out quite enough. Maybe they could do it here, creeping through, and Lucky's going to be going down this time. No double kill for him.
The flash goes off a split second after that shot. That is crazy timing, but Entropiq have still managed to crab walk their way up onto the bomb site. They'll get a bomb plant here, and now the onus is on Astralis to retake.
Yes, it is. Not that many, actually, no nades really left on the side of Entropiq, so holding catwalk could be pretty tricky, although Nickelback with a good kill. Coming in
Спину просто.
not even waiting for the timing. Takes a kill.
Числанда заберет. Первый.
Glaive as well. He's controlling it. Oh,
Второй.
spray at range to bring down Magisk. Dupree all on his own. Just like that, from a 4-on-4 into a 1 versus 3. It was looking so good otherwise for Astralis, but it'll be a 10th round on the board for Entropiq. Ilian taking the last kill. They're playing a phenomenal game right now.
Crad, okay.
I was just going to say, in spite of losing that early fight to Lucky.
Well, I was just going to say, Crad the Chad. He played that
truly
perfectly at long. The off timing as well, always making him think like, okay, now you have a chance to peek A site. Nope, because he goes, re-peeks again as Magisk is thinking, okay, he's not going to peek, he's going to play passive at long. No, Crad pulling a fast one on him, catches him looking the wrong way. That is impeccable stuff. And here's the aggression from Astralis now into mid, but they were watching it in Entropiq. They are aware that this is coming.
Yep. It's a play that we see more now after the change to Dust 2. People try and do it. I don't think it has the same surprise factor that it used to, but saying that, they're kind of looking for it. But Crad is still running. He's not aware at all that they're... Oh, he's still alive. Oh, no, that is a disaster. Crad now going to be slowly walking back and actually spotting for Sip and taking him down. This has really backfired on Astralis. And now the question is, could they even help out Dupree? Let's see. He's going to get at least that kill in return, but they're out long at the same time. They've given up on this part, and they're going to go find Lucky instead.
They realize now that they're, I mean, if with enough extra player up top like that. And Lucky gives it away. Going to lose that fight through the smoke with the FAMAS. Bold trying to make a play, but that's just not going to happen. And now Entropiq can get the bomb planted. There isn't much that Astralis can do to stop this.
With the jump, I was going to say, otherwise they could have tried to boost. The jump is doing a
Неплохо накидал.
They don't need a bit
Хорош.
to win this round badly on the side of Astralis. 10-3. Glaive still hanging around with the UMP. 14th round, so I mean you could justify saving maybe if you're on the Astralis side. You kind of know that you're going to need this money in the next round, although they are going for it now. They can find Ilian as well.
Good luck.
Blacky on his own,
Хорош.
and the shot coming in. Glaive with the shot
Успели.
on Blacky at the end with the UMP, so still pretty impressive stuff here and a pretty good retake coming through
Это было
from the side
неплохо.
of Astralis. I thought they were going to run out of time. And it was pretty close.
I thought so too. You were right to point out the lack of utility there to help with that retake either as well. That's so tough on Astralis, but they managed to fight their way through. Entropiq, when you get stuck on that defensive back foot and the momentum is shifting against you, it's Astralis who are just pushing aggressively. It can be really tough to hold, and I think that's what happened with Entropiq there. Just trying to hold off the flood wasn't going to be happening. They have a pretty good long spawn now though, so they could once again just go crashing out long. What is the money like?
Прерывается разговор двух стримоведущих. Last round первой половины. Не, энтропики молодцы, конечно. Но все равно Астралис выиграет. Не эту карту выиграет следующую. Астралис просто так не дадут.
Big changes as well made, and we saw Astralis finally take advantage of it. Throw some chaos into these rounds. Try and avoid being too predictable here. You know, it's better late than never. Every round matters in a game.
Повтор, молодец, Глеб.
Astralis can manage to pick up the remaining 2 rounds in this half.
Молодец,
That's going to
молодец.
be big. This is going to be the last round of this.
Он еще в полете накидал типу, когда ставил бомбу.
With some aggression up mid, trying to get that chaos going, trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Entropiq to predict what was coming. But we need to see something more here from Astralis in this final round. At least they get the full buy. They'll have everything they need going into this round. So no excuses on the firepower side.
It's kind of impressive because Lackey's been having a great game at 16 kills, but Glaive is actually at 15. He's one behind. I mean, that's kind of hard to match out.
I know Glaive, you know, he's been touted as a bragging game leader in the past, but it's not his job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I put a lot of emphasis on the beginning of this match as well. And Desk has put a lot of emphasis on this. We need to look to great Vegas, but to smash. And if Glaive is the one top bragging, that is a losing situation for Astralis. I think you really need to have Dupree and Vegas in the front, doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for the team. But of course, it is always tough, and it is worth considering that this is still CT side, and those are the 2 B anchors. So if they're always going into retakes on A,
yeah,
that's a hard life as a CT side. So I will cut them a little bit of slack there. If they're not getting hits on B, then they're not going to get too many chances to kill. So maybe T side, you know, they're going to lead and just smash everything in front of them. And really, that's what Astralis are hoping is going to happen, because so far, Entropiq have done a good job of dodging Dupree and Vegas and not really letting them get in.
Yeah, that is actually, it's interesting, and it's a story we've seen before. We've been here. You're just not doing anything.
Я птицы не откажу.
Happens on multiple maps. This
Посмотрим.
thing was very
Посмотрим.
heavy for Entropiq in the first half, so it's kind of impressive. But then again, like we pointed out, once it's working, once they found.
Ну что там, последний раунд.
And even if they know what comes, even if they have time to set up a defense, they're still winning. So maybe it's not such a bad idea. Just keep putting that soft spot until. I mean, Astralis, to their credit, I don't think there weren't many rounds where they heavily over-rotated, and even some of the ones where they did actually, where they were like 3 long, they still didn't win that fight. So it's, but otherwise, that's an easy mistake to make if you're on the CT side. If you suddenly say, all right, listen, we're just gonna have to put 1B, 4A, and forget about the middle because we're just getting beat up. Well, again, you saw Entropiq throughout that one round where they did go B instead, and if that coincides where that's where you leaned A, there's nothing worse as an in-game leader. If you're on the defense and you've asked all your troops to come help you out on that A bomb site and they don't even show up, that just feels like losing.
I mean, you know, you wouldn't even be in that round if it weren't for Glaive, right? You know, if he doesn't pull a triple out of nowhere, like a rabbit out of a hat, I mean, it would be a completely just stronger, and then who knows what happens in the following rounds, right? But I mean, it's still a pretty disastrous first half here for Astralis. If they end this on 4 rounds, it's going to be so
Ну что,
difficult for them to
господа,
fight
пауза
back
не
in the second
бесконечная.
half. Granted, they'll be on the T side, so they'll get to set the pace, they'll get to make it happen. But you know, Entropiq will have a huge lead. So just a reminder, everybody, in case you're wondering, this is in fact LAN. Not quite to the standard of what we. Well, let's say we're not in front of the crowd yet, we're not in the arena, but these guys are on location in Stockholm playing in the hotel. So they are on LAN together in that sense, but obviously they're fighting in front of an audience. And the arena is going to be sick in Stockholm.
Oh, it definitely will be. Yeah, we're getting there. We're building our way into it. 10-4 is the first half here.
Good.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It really has, in a weird way, it's felt like life has just been on standby for a really long time. I sometimes catch myself thinking, why does it feel like everything is obviously this whole COVID situation has made everything feel different. But even when it's not that, I've noticed it in my life. It's not quite the same. I've really missed it. So I'm glad that we could be back doing this once again at this kind of a level. All moving around, so I don't know if that means they're about good to go. Hopefully soon. Money in terms of that for Entropiq, certainly looking like they could put something together here. They're not going to be defenseless in this upcoming round, so that's good to see. Oh, we are lacking one of the players.
Yes.
In Entropiq, so yeah, 4 and 5. You don't want to play like that.
One of them dropped, so that's what we're waiting on to get them back in. And well, that's why it's like, okay, considering you're all in that, I mean, we do have admins on staff over there in Stockholm, so obviously they can stay on top of it. Hope to be able to help them fix the problems quickly. But the fact that that is one of the things, actually, I wonder, it's like a logistics thing, because if the teams are playing from rooms, individual rooms, it means the admin has to hustle over to whichever room the team is in, if it's a PC issue or something like that, you know. So maybe they have to, he's just sitting there waiting for the hotel, the elevator, you know.
So hopefully not. Hopefully they're all at the same floor or something. Poor guy. Or they have hired more than one. It's possible. Right?
That's also possible.
Just the whole team.
You know, just don't take the elevator. Go up the stairs. Get that exercise.
Yep, use it as an opportunity. It's good.
Get the hustle.
Plus it's like a 10-4 difference in that case. Maybe not. I've got to say, again, we sort of outlined it in the beginning, the pressure difference of being the heavy favorites in Astralis versus being just the young up-and-comers of Entropiq, even if some of them have some experience, obviously. It is still pretty impressive when you get to see it like this, right? They're just cruising through some of these rounds here, and Astralis really look like they're under a fair bit of pressure early on. So that's so interesting.
This is the dangerous situation that Astralis find themselves in, and it's the one that all Tier 2 teams find themselves in, which is you're in the online melee now, essentially. So you're in that Tier 2 melee where it's chaotic, anything goes, you have insane fraggers who can just take rounds out of nowhere, just take over maps the way Lackey has taken over this first half. I mean, this is something that's very possible, but that Astralis, you know, for a long period of time, they didn't really have to deal with. Yeah. Now these teams have been kind of playing in online, and so you have they've been rubbing shoulders with these online teams that they wouldn't have before when it was only LAN that they were competing on. But Astralis are a team that are used to being in the top 8 and being like, okay, we're gonna wait for the other 8 teams to join us who are more experienced and who play our kind of style of CS, and so we don't even need to worry about that other kind of CS that Entropiq might be playing, right? Astralis right now are running head first into Entropiq and into a style where perhaps they're still trying to make adjustments.
It's also a world in which previous majors, right, like Astralis are already on the stage.
Yeah, they're just like, they're chilling. They're with the other 8 just waiting in the wings.
When you get there, very likely, you're going to be playing with against a bunch of people, that you know their style, right? You know what it's like playing against Simple and Cyber. And even though they might be really good players, at least it's a pattern that's kind of familiar to you. You have an idea about how they're reacting to certain situations. It might not be the case with Entropiq. Astralis obviously they've watched demos. Obviously they've tried to prepare. It's not like they're just going to walk in here blind today. But still, it's tricky, right? To try and remember, they couldn't know necessarily that they end up fighting Entropiq in this game, right? That's not something they can necessarily prepare for. So even if you watched a couple of their games, you have to now try and remember, how exactly does Lackey play that long position? How is he normally doing it? Is he going to be aggressive? Does he just go for it? Like, you don't know that in your bones the way that you would against some of the teams that Astralis maybe more regularly would have played a couple of years ago. It would have been different, right? So there's some stuff here that's really working against them.
Astralis are just, I think that they really lost the first round draw, taking Copenhagen Flames first round. I think that was the worst case scenario for Astralis.
Very well
out of all the first round picks, they had Copenhagen Flames. I think that was the worst one for them. And now they're up against Entropiq, who, you know, they come from the CIS region. That's no joke. Those guys grind and those guys hit hard. And you know, second round, you've already taken one shot today. Maybe you're a little dazed. You haven't quite got your feet under you, and now you're just getting pummeled by Lackey and the rest of Entropiq. I mean, the beatdown right now that Astralis are taking.
Now, obviously, they wouldn't have just go straight out, right? Like they'd have a chance to play a best of 3 to try and keep going, which I think is format-wise is a really good pick. That's a nice way to do it because then you can't really complain, right? Well, you know, you've got all the chances to try and get this done.
I think best of ones also are really more forgiving now. And everybody was really complaining about best of one before. That was at a time when the economy was way less forgiving and the maps were way more one-sided.
Здорово, дядька, ну что ты?
Blowout halves where it's just like
Нормально, ты как?
half is over essentially, and a best of one could be really cutthroat.
Не, не мерил, завтра с утра пойду тачку там оставлю.
The devs have put in, the maps are way more even, way more equal, the economy is
Ну, отлично, я как раз играю.
I just want to hear less whining about best of one, because I don't think it's nearly as cutthroat as
Либо давай завтра уже.
And then you get your safety net with the best of 3. You know, like you said, you still get your best
Ну
of 3,
и
but I think that
позавтра.
having the 2 rounds of best of 1, I'm fine with. That works.
Ну хорошо, а что ты будешь делать? А что вчерашнее? Как? А что сегодня за тачка? Механика? Мне кажется, на механике они поживее будут, чем на автомате. Я так думаю. Ну хорошо, удачки. Давай, дядька, давай. Ну что они там долго было, блядь, сосаться?
Maybe would have been, but now they're actually just getting to stew in it, right? In Entropiq, yeah, I mean, they weren't just rushing down anyway. They were playing measured, I would say. They weren't just rushing long, rushing the A-bomb site. They took time to think, so I don't think they're going to be losing a lot of momentum in having a little bit of a break here. But Astralis are going to, you know, have time to sort of think, really not winning this game right now, at least. And that could be something to sort of sit in, right? If this is like 9-6 right now, or I guess 8-6 or something, it's kind of a little bit more even. But I feel like Astralis must be probably a little bit more stressed at the moment. Hopefully, again, this is where you want the experience coming through. This is where you want them to be not stressed at all. Otherwise, I think that's hard. That's easier said than done.
In 2 maps, they've only won 10 rounds. Their first match of the day against Copenhagen Flames on Overpass, they lost 16-6. So Copenhagen Flames already blew them up once. Now you have Entropiq, who are 10-4, could finish this 11-4 if Astralis can come up with some magic this last round.
Поплыло немножко.
Imagine a world where Astralis are just getting utterly demolished in 2 maps. Just this is that would be a devastating start to the tournament. But you can still look forward to the best of 3s. You can still have that scenario where Astralis, you know, it's not going to just be one more best of 1s separating them from the void. But it's still a world in which the defending champs could get knocked out.
That would be. I'm guessing someone has that in their pick'ems. Not me.
That would be a crazy pick. That would be pretty sick.
Someone's got to, right? There's got to be someone out there who's seen it coming. So shout out to those people, I suppose. Very hard. I feel like this is something that's happened every single major for me. When I look at the bracket and the opening games, I just think it's so obvious who's going to win. Like, I'm not even in doubt. I'm like, of course I know who's going to win these opening games. Like, no problem.
Okay.
And every single time I'm like, damn, I'm way off. There's always something crazy happening at the major. I don't know why it is, but it's just I should just start counter picking, or just every other game I just random it, because it feels like I'm always wrong on like half of these picks, especially in the beginning. I feel like it's so rough. So
how are your predictions going? I can't remember. So far I'm good. I've got everyone except for the Astralis upset, and I'm kicking myself on that one.
I think I've got everyone except for the Astralis. I want to say that's true, but maybe I'm just making that up now. Yeah. We can't check it, but I feel like maybe I submitted crazy picks. Who knows?
Check the desk later, guys. When we see the predictions, we'll see what Anders picked.
Yeah, that's madness. So I mean, this is.
But we're still waiting. We don't know, guys, what's going on. So in case you're wondering, we're wondering too. We're in the dark with you guys.
Microphone problems.
Okay. Seems like a mic problem. So
that is interesting.
How does that happen?
Наконец-то.
someone, I don't know.
Also, I mean, if you have it's counting down.
Я думаю,
Guys,
сейчас
good,
после
Andrew, let's
паузы
go.
We just had to complain a little bit more.
Астралис заберет
Oh,
этот все-таки раунд.
Guys, worth mentioning as well, no breaks in
И будет
halftime.
не все так
We're
уж
going
плохо.
straight into the second halftime, so there's no ad
Кстати,
break.
если что,
Don't
они
go
в кэп
anywhere.
3
We're
с
gonna
чем-то
get
был.
right into the second half. You won't want to miss it.
Ilian takes a shot. He's back for more. He's got the angle. That easily could have been a kill there. Vegas,
Отлично. От Астралиса 1 минус.
ADing a little bit there while spraying the gun. And it works out. He's going to get the kill on Forrester. Not bad. Crad quite brave enough to move forward in that position. Lucky goes down to Lucky.
Астралис
And it's a
накидывает.
3-on-5. Great start for Astralis. This is what they needed
Сейчас Мэджик.
5
А,
rounds ago. They needed this kind of a beginning.
словил его.
I don't know why they're hanging
Yeah.
around in the middle still. They got the 3-on-5 they need. And Magus goes down.
Astralis deciding to play the meta in the last 2 rounds of the half, which is, you know, charge mid and put pressure mid, make it chaotic. You can get out quick now onto the CT side, and it can get out of hand. And so now, well, we do have Elian still hanging around in top mid. Bomb is still in control as well. Nickelback going to be holding on to that. And this, you can see just how much time this is burnt off the clock. Entropiq are only down to a minute, and they haven't really taken any control anywhere.
It's going to be hard to get out here. Throwing that flashbang will alert Glaive on the other side. Not that he's got any backup really. Actually, they're going to be falling back. Surely that's just
ENTROPIQ
being
фейк
I feel
делает.
like this play is being telegraphed.
Ну, это смешно на
all the way
самом
across
деле,
the map.
потому что Астралис
Surely
везде
know
ждет.
what is going to be coming, and especially they'll know Dupree just has a Molotov in his hand. Gonna be ready
Отлично.
for it, that'll segment them off, and he gets the headshot on Crad as well.
Идеально.
So this round is
Идеально.
definitely done, and Astralis will be able to find a way
Все
to
как
get
говорил.
5 on the board here. Ilian on his own, and Dupree's already
Астралис
pushed up.
дали,
It's
дали,
a good
Жора,
double kill
молодцы.
for him, and it will be 10-5 overall at the end of the half in favor of ENTROPIQ, which again is really impressive. And like you said, we're not going to be having much of a break here. We're just going to go straight into the second half, which I kind of like. Just keep the pace up and just keep going.
Exactly. And now I really want to keep an eye here on Astralis. Now that they decided to play aggressively, in the last 2 rounds of the half, they started to play a bit more towards the meta of what we expect to see on Dust 2 for the CT side.
10-5 закончилась первая сторона.
Really taking the fight to Entropiq.
Сейчас будут
That's
Астралис
really cool.
за
And
более
now we get
сильную
to see
сторону.
Astralis on the T side, where they
Мне
get to
кажется,
go
у
on
них
the stretch.
получится.
Obviously, Dust 2 is still one of those maps where we kind of look at spawn and where you spawn on the T side. If you get a good long spawn or a good upper dark spawn, you know, it can determine what kind of
Хотя
strategy.
после обновы
So
карты
keep an eye on where the players are spawning in that rectangle.
здесь особо нету
But I
сильной
mean,
стороны.
now we get to see if Dupree and Magus are just going to be here to rip heads off. This is going to be sick.
They need it badly. Astralis second half, it has to be really good from the start, or they're not going to get, well, they're going to be 2-2 in the group, and that's not what you want. Lian, Brad playing here behind the smoke. They're not checking it. They're not
Crad.
suspicious. Oh, he walks out. It could be beautiful, and it will be. Crad with a triple.
Молодец,
Lucky
молодец.
Magus can sip. They just were not suspicious. They did not suspect that anything bad was happening inside of that smoke, and oh boy, were they wrong. Glaive now, 1 versus 5 out here. And the
Glaive уже
setup, the
ждут.
fact that Nickelback got that 1 kill, that is suddenly all of their attention. Their mind is just
Не, ну
somewhere
Кред
else.
молодец.
And Glaive, well, he's being held. The duel
Glaive
is the USP on
прочекает,
one
прочекает.
side. He's going to be straight dead out here.
Очко свое.
11-5 in favor of ENTROPIQ.
Outrageous, Anders, outrageous. And I think you get that. You just hit the nail on the head.
У Астралис очко сейчас поджимает неплохо.
Cat is just making Astralis think, oh, everything is normal. Nobody's here. We're going to be able to aggro a cat real quick and
Ну,
get
это
on
люто
the
было.
bomb site. Little did they know, Crad had pushed through the mid doors, and again, that's the thing that you can do on the CT side. You can push through those doors real quick now, and nobody was there to watch for
Да,
Astralis.
запушил он четко
Now
через
they'll
мид
have a
нашел.
player in Suicide Astralis, so they've made that adjustment to keep an eye on things. But in that pistol round, that was not the case, and ENTROPIQ took perfect advantage of it. So now Astralis, well, it's a disastrous start to the second half here. Losing the pistol is so painful, but they do go for the hard eco this round, so that's cool to see. It means that we'll get rifles in the next round.
I mean, it's absurd as it sounds. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th time that I brought up this point, but they have to keep believing that they just are the better team, and that once things get rolling, they're going to be able to win no matter what the difference is, really. So I understand why they're doing this, even if it
Без шансов
seems like
Астралис.
they're running out of runway for this plane.
А это был экран.
They're going to have to keep
Сейчас будет full закуп.
12-5 the scoreline, and like you said, straight into the AKs here.
Indeed, Anders, you're right. And yeah, that's the one thing where instead of going for the Deagle Kevlar, they go for the hard eco. So we will get that. They don't even get close to planting a bomb, but they will have enough for the AKs and some nades. And picked up on
Астралис
so we will
пушит
get that
лонг.
shot, and there it is.
Они займут лонг.
Forrester in mid.
There's a
Их сзади уже поджимают скорого.
Brad is going to be slowing them down a little bit with that Molotov. They want to push behind it. And they're in a similar position. They're all out long. It looks like Entropiq no. Oh,
Отлично,
wow.
Magic.
That is a clean headshot if I've ever seen one. Magus taking down Crad. I was going to say otherwise. Kind of a reversal of roles here, where the CT side knows what is coming for sure. They definitely know, but they might still lose the round, even if they have all the intel, which normally is like half the battle in Counter-Strike. It's just figuring out where's the actual attack going to happen. Well, this round, there's no mystery, but it still can be very hard to hold the A-bomb side, just like we saw in the first half, really. Lucky, though, doing a good job. Nickelback is there. Oh, Astralis, they should not be losing control of this round, but somehow they are. Lucky, this is just a scout. That's not going to be a kill. And just like that, it's a 1 versus 2.
Мэшиск 1-2.
Really cannot believe it. They had this round locked down. 3 versus 5. They had that A-bomb site. They were just there. And they somehow walked their way onto the site and get killed. Magus walking into the scout. He's real low on health and he's going to be down. He couldn't find the head of Ilian, and that's a 13th round for Entropiq. Unbelievable scenes here.
I cannot believe it, Anders. I cannot believe what we just saw. Astralis getting picked off
Морально
one
это вообще
after
тяжело.
another, slow walking up onto that bomb
Для
site.
команды Astralis.
Entropiq, that's outrageous that they actually managed to pull that off. I cannot believe that they actually managed to do it, and so clean as well. You're thinking 2 entries, that's it. Astralis, they're in the bin, and yet Entropiq, they wasted no time. They went for the gamble and rotated hard over. There's Zipnix again giving them the man advantage, again taking out Forrester. Forrester can't catch a break in these rounds. He's just sat 2 rounds now because of this spot in mid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's also you just don't feel like, yeah, but does it make a difference? If they can't win the rounds, because that kind of an opening normally will give you a little bit more to work with. And they just threw away a round where they had this exact same setup.
You're right, you're right.
So, that's pretty close. Ilian will take him down.
Забайтил сам себя.
Back into a 4-on-4.
Как глупо было с его стороны.
Pistols. They could try and do
Байтеры,
something
это же
outside
глупо.
by Ilian, who had a pretty respectable game himself. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, perhaps. But he's got some backup in here. So even if they try and flash him down, yep, the M4 is in front. Always a good setup to try and do that.
Я не ожидал, что Астралис настолько глубоко будет играть.
That's sick. What a good feel. He's just tagging everybody, and that's what it feels like when you get to just stand your ground in mid, just taking shot after shot.
Сожалею, что на первом могу поставил на Астралиса. Просто руки потные, наверное, у всех.
Spacing not quite right, not quite taking advantage of utility either. So I'm wondering right now what the comms are like on Astralis, if they're clean or if they're quieting down. Because this is just looking like another beating, Anders. 14-5 for Entropiq now. We're in full control. Entropiq get to go for the full buy, have everything that they need. And well, after that round of Eco, Astralis are going to get a full as well. Lucky's going to finally get his hands on an AWP.
Вот он сам себя забайтил.
That was the spot.
Первый, второй и третий вот здесь сейчас.
Into something positive, isn't it, Samuel? How do you sell this?
It's tough. I mean, it's still possible.
There's more fun on the way down.
Yeah, I guess for Astralis, right? They just want the best of 3. They only want best of 3s. You know, they're like, screw these best of 1s. We'll get these best of 1s done as fast as possible, and we'll just get into best of 3 territory, right?
They're gonna have to come up with something, because that's where they're headed right now. 14-5. They got some rifles back in the hands on Astralis here, but we're talking about realistically something like 11 rounds.
Энтропик как будто чувствует их.
They mess up at any point during that, it's probably going to be done. So certainly make for a very cool story, but the likelihood of that happening is almost 0. Set up on the catwalk. They've got one out long. That's Sip hanging out there. They've got Megaskin upper dark, holding an eye on that. It's a pretty standard setup, which can kind of spiral into anything really for Astralis, right? It's so early on. Could still be a fake on catwalk and go back to B splitting if you wanted to out middle. But see, Sip is starting to fall a little bit further back. To come join them, it seems like. I still wonder if this isn't going to be a B split.
It feels like it, because you still have Magus lurking around in upper dark right now, looking for that info push from Entropiq. So if anybody were to push for info, but Entropiq, they've fully committed to this hold now. With 38 seconds, they're saying 2 on B, 3 on A. We are not moving. We're not going anywhere. We just wait and see where they hit. And we have to hit our shots when the time comes.
Speaking of time, 27 seconds. Lucky with the kill on Forrest, a good flashbang, but Lucky, he could not pick up more than enough. They were really blind, I think, in that middle, but they find a way to thread the needle here. Astralis even getting the shot for the smoke on Dupree there. That's not bad. Taking down Nickelback and
Нормально, Астралис раскидали.
Even with 12 seconds at the end,
Молодцы,
they
лайком.
have time to put the bomb down and get yeah, that was a bit of a classic setup, really.
Yep.
And I mean, we saw them throw the smokes in the middle. What you didn't see is the smokes that land on the catwalk to try and sell that A side of the fake. And I mean, they did a good job. There's no doubt.
Well, having the lurk smoke on catwalk is what's going to keep Entropiq just focused on A, or at least stuck there, because they can't rightfully rotate while that smoke is up, because that's the whole point of a lurk smoke. You don't know if somebody's sitting behind it who's there to wreck you. And so Entropiq are stuck, but Entropiq really...
Ну, мне варик эти выбивать, у них сами бабок нету.
Wherever Astralis show themselves, we're going to just hit our shots. And they set it up with that flash through the smoke at CT, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, everybody is there from Astralis because they are going for the death ball approach, where it's just no matter where you peek from, 3 rifles are going to be facing your way. So you're not going to kill all of us. We will eventually whittle you down and get onto a bomb site.
And we'll think about this. That setup that they just ran is so variable that Astralis can do this, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 more times with different outputs, right?
Yeah.
They could do that strategy where they drop down in the CT spawn. They could do it where they legitimately execute on the A bomb site. They can do it where they go out middle and then wait for the CTs to try and retake middle and see if they do it early on round. There are so many variations of the same smokes and flashbangs that just have a different outcome. So if they get catwalk over again here from Entropiq, if they can win that fight, they can kind of keep messing with them for a long time to try and build something behind it. Lackey, though, he's pushed into lower dark with an AWP. That is a wild play.
I'm pretty sure Dupree was close enough to hear the footstep. That's why Dupree's playing it this way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was an audio cue that told him somebody pushed lower dark.
But he doesn't have anyone in middle. They can set up that smoke on the Xbox. That's okay, but is it actually going to make a difference? Nice Molotov to force back Ilian as well. And now Lackey's going to be feeling really lonesome. And Dupree, he's run out of patience, maybe a bit too soon. A missed opportunity.
Молодец, нормально забайтил.
He is so brave. He's just not giving up on it. Flashed as well, but so is Dupree on the other side. They're going to try and go for him, and they'll finally win that fight. That looked like it could have gone either way.
Mad lad, Lackey. Mad lad. And now Dupree is just chilling out here at mid. He's going to cut this map in half and give Astralis all of
Сейчас он скажет по миду инфу и будут перетягиваться.
Looking like they're going to hit that B site. Dupree is already in position to catch the rotate, and the rest of the team can gather up and just smash onto that B bomb site. So it is all going to be riding on Forrester and Nickelback now. Those guys, they have no option but to fight their way out of this situation.
And they have no grenades, so it is just going to be the raw fight. Only holding middle is Dupree. The rest of them will be coming in a little bit one at a time, a little bit slowed down, in fact. They don't have time for this at all. Ilian and Nickelback doing it. 19 seconds, a big triple coming out from Nickelback. Double so far, actually. One of them there.
Ничего не сказать, Энтропиq молодцы, конечно.
And Lucky, he can't do anything. This was such a weak attempt from Astralis in a lot of ways. They had the setup for it. They had the 4 versus 2 basically in the bomb site, and they just couldn't actually get through even the first player.
They had the grenades too, Anders.
Yeah, you're right.
They had everything. Oh,
В натуре Lucky.
Saved by the bell.
That's very uncharacteristic. They had set this entire round, and remember, this couldn't turn into a fake. There was not enough time to do anything but this. They had one guy holding middle, the other 4, they need to hammer their way through to that B bomb site. It's fine to get some spacing, right? We talk about that a lot. It's fine to have one guy go in and then a little bit of a delay, but that's not what we were seeing here. This just seemed like it was a very weak attempt to get into the bomb site. That makes it 15-6. Entropiq 1 round away from putting Astralis down in the O2 bracket, and that is wild.
It's out there. I mean, right now, Astralis, it just felt like the spacing was completely off. Glaive was just ahead of everybody else, and that just allowed for Entropiq to get the feel for what Astralis were throwing at them. Now I'm seeing Glaive doing a lot of talking. Now we're going to see some buying from him, so that's good. Lucky, yep, we'll get that smoke grenade. He had enough money for it, and the nade count is pretty good here for Astralis, all things considered. But Entropiq, do they go? They were thinking about it, and sure enough, but there's the trade. Ilian takes Glaive. That had to happen. You had to have the 1-for-1 in mid.
Yeah, still fighting. Think about this mid fight is something that we just did not see before the change almost ever. Crad goes down.
Wow.
I think probably attempting to use the confusion.
На этот раунд есть шансы у Астралис.
Gain some more map control out there, but that definitely backfired.
Есть все шансы.
So 4 on 3
4 в 3.
in favor of Astralis, which
Инфа есть по сайту.
Better opportunities than this so far in the game. So let's just see if they can negotiate this particular round.
Best chance they've had so far, though, to... Well, I mean, now they can actually get a round more than 16-6. So that's already good. Of course, Astralis now are looking to play
to
tie this up and force overtime. But they went their first match of the major they lost to Copenhagen Flames 16-6. So now Entropiq down a man. Still a couple of nades to play with, though. And they have just full gambled. They're going all in on the A side Entropiq. They're hoping that Astralis is going to hit here.
Look at what Astralis are doing, though. They are so sure that Entropiq will make a mistake and come look for them. And that's fine to use some time on, but they used over 20 seconds to wait around like this. That's starting to feel not so much like you're giving an opportunity for your opponent to make a mistake. It's starting to feel like they're just not really making any assertive calls right now. And Entropiq have not given them any mistakes so far. Nickelback is right at the edge. He hears the footsteps. He's going to spray down one.
Энтропик угадывают просто. Угадывают. 4-3 они втроем стояли на...
But this is not a good look. 15 seconds on the clock, and they're going to have to try and see if they can get through Ilian. But that's just not easy. He's already taken one kill. Magisk out in the open, and he is gone. 16-6.
Энтропик 16-6 выиграет Астралис. Молодцы.
Wow, and this is Astralis that we're talking about. They've made the changes with the roster as well to get Glaive back in the mix, and it is not working for them in the first 2 matches for the major. They have been struck down.
That is crazy. I really did not see this coming. I think I had Astralis going 3-0 or something. I was pretty hopeful for them.
The world, if a man is a man, if a man is a man, if a man.
Так. Так. А что у нас будет? У нас будет катка. Здесь мне дезертир дали. Бэм. Еще кто-то вот играет. One-shot. Headshot. Ультракилл. Монстр килл. Unstoppable. Rampage. Мега Rampage. Мега Ультракилл. Мега Ультракилл. А вот и проебали. О, блядь. Не варик. Monster kill. Rampage. Не прикольно, что, короче, в ММ надо проходить целую разминку. Совершенно не прикольно. Почему нажав нельзя порезать в свою сторону? Здорово, господа.
Selamünaleyküm beyler.
Aleykümselam.
Kral bu adamları tokatlamamız yok mu? Long'u deliyormuşsun.
Совершенно не понял, на каком это языке.
Öldüm ama.
Middle двери есть.
Dönelim beye. Oynarız beraber ya.
Блять, я еще и не убил его. Отлично. Почему бы не зайти? Отлично.
Devam ki.
Блять, что это за
Cam cam cam.
Neredeydi lan göremedim. Lan arabadaymış şerefsiz.
Вырубаю на лету. Фартук мастер. Фартук мастер. Ну, ты чё, прикалываешься?
Шорт,
Нажимай
шорт.
ему. Я понимаю, что шорт. Давай, дядь. Иди сюда. Да.
Go short, go, go, go.
Вот так вот надо, вот так вот.
Меня слышно?
Да, наконец-то русский дрон.
Здорово, здорово. Hello, Турция,
Я
блядь.
зеленого замутил, что-то там вообще я хуй знаю, что это за язык даже.
Ну, турки, походу.
Ну, походу. Вот мы сейчас желтеньким красоту и наведем.
One pit, one pit. One pit, one long.
Слова нету, блядь. Нет, турки нельзя вообще играть, в принципе.
One city, one more. Sağda olabilir. CT'ye girdi biraz. Durdu orada pusuyor.
Вот что за язык? Почему такой страшный? Кто-то приглашал в контроль. На фейсик покатать. Тут вспышку проебал.
Let's go, go.
Where is he?
Батя, просто батя. Сейчас батька мид вольет.
Abi smoke içi girdi.
Ласт у меня.
Blue, go away,
Ласт
blue.
в виду.
City, go.
Я отметил, что сидите.
Yeşil ölürsen alamaz kanka bu oyunu.
Давай,
Haberin
зеленый,
olsun
хрен.
yani.
Самый лютый фраг, блядь, за сегодня. Ну, батька на первом месте, как обычно. Батхит. Отличный ник, блядь, для русского. Мивный Батхит. Шорт. Минус по красоте.
One city.
Be clear, be clear.
Минус по красоте. Кто батя? Синий батя.
Lower.
Nice. One lower tower. Nice.
Low HP, very low, very low. Pit.
Short one.
Это было easy. Че там, батька на первом месте? 4 КД, блядь, нормально. Изи. Короче, намёрзли. Backside.
Bro, rush B, low HP car. Nice.
I kill middle.
Info.
B clear kanka.
Что ты вешаешь, блядь?
Хорош.
Ну, он везучий какой-то. Allah.
AWP atacağım yere.
Господин Туров.
Short gireriz aslında.
Short yakın. Mid very low. Kanka karşıda Valek var ya.
Görüyor mu?
Kanka tam adama bakmayı bırakıyorum, adam çıkıyor beni tarıyor amına koyayım, imkansız.
Он без хп, блядь, 2 хп у него. Сколько у него хп? Не знаю, сколько хп.
Helal.
I think short.
Зачем ты берешь АВП, если ты не умеешь играть? Что это, блядь, было вообще? Куда ты зашел, дурдом какой-то?
One close mid door.
One short. Short.
Bu piçte mi var abi?
Onda var diyordum kanka.
Что делаете?
Nice.
Изи. С моей стороны так изи. Сити. Не сайта, Сити. Да, давай. Добили. Ты сколько снял? 87.
Short.
Куда я попал? Ладно.
Sorry bro. No.
Oh, sorry.
Long VP.
Short one.
Last short.
Short. Öldü ya.
Это война, я понимаю. Батя как обычно.
Elinize sağlık beyler, easy maçtı ya.
Kanka daha bitmedi ya.
Yok kanka, dönmez mi?
Mid var bir.
Lower, lower. Tunnel empty bro. Kanka boş boş lower öldü.
Kanka canım hiç yok ya.
Как обычно. Easy. Breezy. Forward or easy.
Short, one short, 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 short.
Отличная игра. Очень классно, очень весело. 72, блядь.
One lower tunnel.
Lower coming.
Nice.
Lan short short.
To be.
Short var short.
One more short.
Mid. На шорт пошел. Nice.
Elinize sağlık. Bitmedi lan.
Middle one.
Short.
Short, all short.
Last.
Side one.
Nice.
Сейчас будет красота.
Pusuyorlar ya. Yellow don't go. They fucking hiding. En son Dark'taydı, aynen.
T. Pardon. Sorry.
27-6. Снижаюсь. Сейчас я вам покажу, як леврочить.
Lower one, lower. Short one.
Short. Short dead.
Middle.
Fuck. Low speed.
Lan 10 canı var lan.
Evet, sana. Битва титанов.
Low.
Dark one dark.
Tunnel
Lower.
one.
Orospu çocuğu tam bir terörist gibi oynamıyor mu?
Short.
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 Too short. Short, блядь. Two middle. Tunnel one. Tunnel. Сука. Господи, блядь.
Bomb long.
Боже, Тім купує. Купує бомбу, все, далі.
Half pitch.
Ти ще на третій був, Між сховав назад.
Low, very low. 10 HP, 10 HP. Shot. Ölen.
Щасливо. Графіті. На 52 рядов графіті. Туда-сюда пару движений сейчас сделаем, да? Блин, мне сегодня надо было на прослушивание идти, на радио. Я забил. Чё, не забыл? Я забил. Да. Чпок. Чпок. Чё, мышка?